What's going on, guys? This is Miasin and welcome to my Exosister deck profile. It's actually crazy how good this deck is because it's relatively new in the OCG. This new card, technically Exosister Malfa, the only card that doesn't exist in the TCG yet, as well as Lithania, had been released in Power of the Elements, which is the ridiculous set with freaking Splight, Tearlaments, the new Mathemic Monster, etc. So very explosive set. But if you're an Exosister fan, this is going to be even greater for you because this card was literally enough to make this deck ridiculously good in the OCG. I'm not even capping. It's really that good. And if it's piloted by the perfect player, this deck can honestly win YCSs. I'm not even joking. So before this video starts, make sure you like and subscribe. Check me out on Twitch and Instagram. Let's try to get this video to 1,000 likes. As soon as we hit that, I will be making a live stream on this deck, and now let's jump right into it. So my Exosister lineup is actually very simple. It's just triple Malfa, triple Elise, 1 Elen, triple Stella, and only 2 Sophia. So I'll explain this now. Malfa is a 1-card starter. If you control no monsters, or all monsters you control are Exceeds monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand, and if you do, summon 1 Elise, which is this card, from your deck, but also you cannot special summon monsters except Exosister monsters during the turn you activate this effect. And if a card or cards is moved out of either graveyard, except during the damage step, and that includes your own effect, so you can DD Crow your opponent, and that works, you can special summon from your extra deck 1 Exosister Exceeds monster using only this card as a material, and this is treated as an Exceed summon. Ridiculously broken, man. In my combo video, I've showcased how Malfa and DD Crow is like a 2-card combo, which is ridiculously crazy. So yeah, imagine that. Just insanity. But yeah, Malfa is the best card in this deck, and then Elise and Stella are like the extenders. So Stella on the field, you can activate its effect to special summon an Exosister monster you control from your hand. And then Elise, if you control an Exosister monster, you can special summon it from the hand. So both of them are pretty nice extenders. And then the Elen is actually by far the worst one, but the only reason why you're playing it is because it includes the counterpart, which is Sophia in its text, which allows you to summon both of these cards with Vadis. Or, you know, you can go back, search the Sophia, and then special summon it in case you have Elen in the grave, or the other way around. And the final monster that I really want to explain is Zora, the Magistus of Flame. So very great card, man. It reads, you can target 1 Magistus monster you control, equip it with 1 Magistus monster from your extra deck, and if this card becomes equipped with a Magistus monster card, you can special summon 1 level 4 spellcaster from your hand or graveyard in defense, except Zora. But its effects are negated. You can only use each effect of Zora once per turn. So in other words, what this card offers you is a monster reborn and a search for another Zora, which is going to be another follow-up, and it can lead to another follow-up again and again and again. So this card kind of gives you an infinite grind game, which is beautiful. And even if you have nothing in your grave, and or like you're under shifter or whatever, it's fine because you can also summon your monsters from the hand. So this card never really sucks, and you have a lot of options as well. You have all these 3 cards, so you have Ninaru, the Magistus Glass Goddess. This card is basically an Archphoenix centric to pop a spell or trap your opponent controls in the spell and trap zone. This card is like a breakthrough skill or effect veiler, and this card is a Rhoda, so it searches your deck for a Magistus monster. So that's it for these monsters, and now for the hand traps, I'm on triple Ash, triple DD Crew, and triple Imperm. I don't know about Veiler because it does conflict with the Dimensional Fissure that I really wanted to play. You can also argue that DD Crew conflicts with it, but DD Crew is an extender in case like I draw it with Malfa. And this card is also pretty good if I'm going first, because if my opponent goes like Tearlaments Haffinis to like send a Tearlaments monster from the deck to the grave, I can DD Crow it, and then my opponent will not be able to fuse. So DD Crow is actually very good at protecting yourself against the Tearlaments deck. And against the Splight deck, it's also really insane because if you DD Crow the 1 of Roan and Toadin, chances are your opponent cannot make Toad that game. And Imperm is a given. It's always a pretty good card, so I'm a big fan of Imperm, and Ash is, Ash is Ash. Am I really going to try to explain that? Anyways, for the spell cards, I'm on double Prosperity. I didn't want to play 3 because the Excavate actually does conflict with Sophia because it draws, but that's pretty much the only argument. Like, a lot of the cards in your extra deck are like multiple ofs. Like, you play freaking 2 Magnifica, triple Michaelis, triple Caspitel. A lot of these cards won't even come up at 3, so you can definitely, you know, banish for 6 sometimes, and you're fine. So that's that. This card is actually very good when you don't have to get cooked by the draw from Sophia. And then to Amento, this card has a relatively long effect, but, you know, long story short, if your opponent controls a monster that was revived back from the grave, it's a quick play spell that can be used on your own turn, which, you know, in theory, quick play spells should always be like that. Otherwise, its effect is like so broken that you can only use it on your opponent's turn. basically it transforms one of your Exosister monster directly into an Xyz. So that's the reason why it can be pretty nice. And in the simplified game state, if all your plays get Veilered, it's fine. You can just set like a Mento, and on your opponent's turn, you quick Xyz into like the Eosophiel, which is a Dweller, or into the Caspatel, which is a Sanafond, or even into the Michaelis, which is a quick effect Banish. So regardless of what you summon, you can actually stun your opponent quite well. Anyways, the one Combat the Grave, very similar to triple DD Crow. So yeah, basically we're playing 4 DD Crows, I guess. Triple packs, great card. It's actually ridiculous how good this is, outside of the fact that unfortunately this is a quick play spell that searches, that cannot be used on the draw phase. So you cannot play around the Droll and Logbird that way. It is a main phase only card, but it searches as well as giving you the option to special summon the monster that you searched, in case you either control or have in your graveyard the Exosister monster that is mentioned in the card text of the Exosister that you just searched. So in other words, if you're searching whatever, a monster like Malfa, and you have Elise in the field or grave, you can summon it. Or if you have Stella, then you can, you know, summon whatever, you get the point. Anyways, for the one-offs, a bunch of cards that are kind of random, you can afford to, like, not play them. So one Temple of the King, so you can use, like, your Vadis the turn it is set, like, when you're going first, which is really broken because it summons 2 Exosister monsters from the deck. Preferably the Sophia and the Elen, so you can draw 1 card for free. And then just combo off. This is basically full combo, actually, these 2 cards. And yeah, the One Dimension Fisher, this card is actually ridiculously good. Even going second against Relevance, it's broken. And going second as well against Splight, it's really good because if you activate this, your opponent is 100% forced to negate this with the Toad. And the reason for that is because Toad actually has to send from the hand or field to the graveyard in order to negate. So if he can't actually pay the cost, he cannot negate anything under D-Fisher. Now, Macrocosmos is a little worse because you have to flip it on, like, after. So if you're going second, Macro is actually a little too slow, whereas this card can actually kind of break boards almost, or at least help you break boards. And then we play 1 Necro Valley, which is an insta-win against Splight because they cannot revive back anything with the Splight Elf, and also it is a 1-card FTK against Tearlaments because they will never be able to fuse unless they're fusing from the hand or field, which means that they have to draw like Polymerization or some weird, just random cards like that. So yeah, that's it for these cards. And finally, 2 Litania. This card is like a multiple banish in once. It's ridiculously broken. I really hope that you know what this card does because, trust me, it's the bomb. So that's it for the main deck. Always play 40 cards with this deck because you're trying to see your Malfa as soon as you possibly can. For the extra deck, I'm playing 1 Zeus, which you can never summon because you're always locked under summoning Exosister monsters only. So this is kind of just like there as a flex. Double Magnifica, triple Michaelis, triple Caspatel, double Eusophiel, and only 1 Gibri, and it doesn't come up that often. And finally, the 3 Magistus monsters to go along with your Zoroa package. So that's it for this, and now for the idea section cards, not a lot of cards that will actually ever come up. So the Zora Synchro monster, bruh. And then this package is actually kind of cute. It's really reminiscent to like having Downward Magician and like a rank 3 or 2 or 1 Xyz monster. So it allows you to have a Zeus with 4 materials, in case you didn't know already. You summon Dark Rebellion, and then you summon this card on top of that, and then you attack, and then main phase 2 Zeus with 4 materials. Anyways, Tornado, Baguska, Monster Reborn. This continuous spell allows you to, like, it's kind of like a Prohibition, searchable one, so you can call Nibiru, and your opponent can't Nibiru you. Another Litania with Trap Trick, Debear, and Macrocosmos. So that's pretty much it for this deck profile. Let me know your thoughts about this deck in the comment section below. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you guys very soon. Peace.